A couple of weeks ago, I did a video on this Lenovo IdeaPad. I was confused as to what the purpose was of this laptop because it wasn't very good at doing much of anything outside of video playback. Today I have something a little bit older that, well, this is a netbook. This is an HP Mini, to be specific, HP Mini 311. This has an Intel Atom N280 and an Nvidia Ion. I don't believe these had Ion LEs, so this is just a standard, pretty much a lower clocked GeForce 9400M or whatever it was called. And because I have nothing better to do with it, I'm trying to run Team Fortress 2 on it, a very old build of it. Am I going to regret it? Most likely, but, well, we never know how it can run until you try it. As you can see, it's taking a long time to load because I have it on a flash drive, because transferring it would take ages. But a little bit about this laptop. This came out in 2008. This would have been a relatively high-end netbook for the time, and it was designed to play 1080p video. Actually, it has a nicer screen than a lot of netbooks of the era did. Most had 800 by 480 or 1024 by 600 screens. This one has a 1366 by 768 screen, which actually isn't bad at all. It's relatively bright. The viewing angles aren't terrible. They aren't great, but it's an HP laptop. So what do you expect? Their viewing angles are generally terrible on most of them, unless you get something really high end. And Team Fortress 2 is still taking years to load, which I guess it would on a flash drive and an Intel Atom. Now, these could be equipped in a few different ways. This is a decent configuration. This one has an Atom N280 instead of the N270, which, granted, meant a 60 megahertz overclock, which isn't much, but it's something. As I said, Nvidia Ion. However, I do think this laptop was not the nicest spec. I believe you could get a 320 gigabyte hard drive on these. This has a 160 gigabyte hard drive, which is more than enough for a Windows XP laptop for me, but it's obviously not a lot of storage. You can also equip these with an SSD, interestingly enough. That would have been a very niche option, and I suspect not a lot of these were optioned with an SSD. It would make this laptop feel a fair bit faster, although it's not sluggish. I guess that's what happens when you use an operating system designed for Pentium 3 on an Atom. And as you can see, the charger situation sucks. I have an AMD A12 9800 holding it down because that's the only way it'll work. This does not have a battery either. This laptop has 3 gigabytes of RAM. I pulled it out of some Acer laptop, I think. I think this would have originally come with 2 gigabytes of RAM, which was relatively high for a netbook. I'm more surprised this can address 3 gigabytes of RAM. We've been initializing the world for like 3 minutes now, but a little bit about this laptop. I bought it on eBay as a late night purchase because of course I did. This came from Richmond in British Columbia, up in Canada. I believe it was owned by some Turkish person because there's a lot of pictures. Well, they seem to have been a tourist of like Europe, the continent of Europe in general. But I'm pretty sure the prior owner of this was Turkish, given their name and some documents I found. But I'm not interested in having those. So, of course, I'm not going to keep them around. I remember that I had this laptop. I thought something was wrong with it, and indeed something was wrong with it. I threw a Wi-Fi card from an old Toshiba satellite in here, and it did not like it much. I guess this laptop has a whitelist for what you can throw in here. Some HP laptops are like this, others are not. I guess this one is like that, and resources are still being loaded. Well, it's moving. I guess that's all I could ask for. I'm really scared to see how this game's gonna run. Not very good. can't be any worse than some of the worst experiences I've had with this game. Spoiler alert, I have an Acer laptop that I'm going to pull out in a little while. And we get to see how TF2 runs on that as well. Not very playable. And in that case, it's actually the CPU that's holding it back, which is very sad. The loading bar is still taking its time. There's a few different games I would like to test with this. SimCity 4 is actually one of them, but I don't feel like pulling out my disk drive or my disk copy of the game. So here we are, suffering as we let this flash drive load this game. It's trying. It's really trying. Actually, it's going a little bit quicker. Yeah, this is really taking way too long, but it is loading more and more. I always wanted a laptop with an Nvidia Ion. They aren't easy to find, and they actually made laptops with dual-core Atoms and the Nvidia Ion. They also made various, I guess, net tops, what they called them back in the day, of that they would have an Nvidia Ion, but like other CPUs. Some of them had Intel Atoms like this. Others would actually have AMD Athlon Neos, which I'd be kind of interested in finding. Most common setup with these, with them, one of the AMD CPUs would be like an AMD Athlon 2 Neo K325, but to be honest, I'm not looking to pay over $100 for a net top. I don't have much use for one. It would be interesting, but really, I can live without one. We'll see. And TF2 still loading, although it's getting there. Slowly but surely. I probably should have started this later. Oh well, that's what I get. That's what I get for trying to play Team Fortress 2 on an old netbook at 3 in the morning. But eventually, it will load. Do I dare Alt-Tab to see what's going on in the background? No, I don't dare. That sounds like a terrible idea. And I used to have the Wi-Fi card for this, but unfortunately, I don't know where I put it. That's unfortunate, because when I start it up, it throws up an error about how a Wi-Fi card is missing. I can start the laptop up just fine without it, but it doesn't like it. Sad. Later revisions of these, I believe you could get with Windows 7 Starter, I think, which would have been kind of funny to see on a laptop with an Ion, but well, this was ultimately a netbook, if a high-end netbook at that. It's still loading resources. Eventually, we'll actually be able to play. Shipping this wasn't so bad, or getting this shipped over here wasn't so bad. It took like a week or two, which tends to happen with stuff coming from Canada down to where I'm at. But, oh, there we go. Yay! We're getting much closer. This is so bad. Let's see. I'm sure I have something I could prop up to have my camera here while we try to play TF2 on this pile of crap. As I said, this is not particularly fast. I can tell this is probably going to be worse than an old Celeron, which is not a good sign, because Core 2RS Celerons are not very fast in of themselves. Well, here we are trying to play it on Intel Atom N280. Is that just going to slide off? Come on, we're getting there. Oh, that's not going to work. That's right. You have to start your camera up and have zoom mode. I'll figure something out. I want to push it because I have a feeling I'm going to shut this laptop off on accident. Oh my god, it looks terrible. That looks absolutely horrible when you're not looking at it head on. I swear the viewing angles, while they aren't great, they aren't that as bad as they appear on camera. I genuinely promise you, they're not that horrible. Yeah. That just looks really terrible. 10 minutes. Like, I know this flash drive isn't state of the art, but this poor Atom is working. This poor Atom is really, really working. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no. Oh dear. We are CPU bound. This reminds me of playing Team Fortress 2 on an old Toshiba netbook I had. Oh, this is so bad. Oh, let's turn on that graph. Thank you, Scout. Oh, jeez, this is horrible. Okay. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and this is not easy. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, whoops, that doesn't help.
Mission begins in 60 seconds.
As you can see, it's stuttering, doing literally anything at all. Okay.
Let's waste them.
It is stuttering when trying to play audio. Oh man, not even the Acer is doing that. Alright. Show low-res image. Tell this is an older version of TF2 because this only works in older versions of TF2. Valve broke it at some point, I think either with the Source 2013 transition or some point afterwards.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
Looks like crap. Oh my god. I thought trying to play this on the FX 8800P was horrible. My god, this is another level of stutterfest. This is probably going to have to do. Oh god. Doing anything causes immense amounts of stutter? Oh my god. Oh my god.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The administrator's having a fun day here. But honestly, this doesn't run horrible, just it stutters far too much. Well, let's make the mistake of adding bots here. Let's do it to where I'm not blocking the camera. Let's do 22. Let's do 22 players total, and it's really not having a fun time with this. Oh my god. I was at like 30 FPS. Oh my god. It just stutters. It just stutters. Alright, let's try to do something here. Oh my god, this is not
The
going to
control
work.
point is being contested.
Oh god, I have the Sandman and I'm gonna die. This is so bad. Oh my god. You sure do, Scout. Wow, this is horrible. This thing is stuttering at the kill cam. I knew this was going to be bad. I didn't realize it was going to be this bad. Oh my god. Please put this laptop out of its misery. You know what? Let's spectate. I'm not gonna be able to play this anyway. Oh my god. This just stutters. Yeah, this reminds me just like my old Atom N280. The GPU is not the bottleneck. As a matter of fact, I'd be surprised if it wasn't any capacity. But the poor CPU is doing way too much. Probably doesn't have enough cache for this game. Well, certainly doesn't have enough CPU performance. Wow. Okay, I can't take the stutter anymore. We're done. We're gonna take the easy way out and just exit. I think I have Task Manager open, which means we can see how hard this whole system was struggling. Oh, well, it's trying. It's trying. That was 10 minutes of loading and maybe 5 minutes of trying to play. There we go. Ask me later. Oh no, I didn't have Task Manager up. All I know is it was really struggling. I know something it won't struggle with. Oh, it says Google Earth. I wonder how long it hasn't supported Windows XP for. iTunes. Here's something that it definitely won't struggle with. 3D pinball. Unfortunately, I would struggle trying to play it because I need 2 hands for it. Surprisingly enough, I don't have enough hands for it. Oh, please don't tell me it's stuttering. Can't play this game. There we go. Loud. Very loud. Those are the speakers. They get surprisingly loud for some netbook speakers. Let's see. Ah, whatever. We know how 3D pinball plays, so we're just gonna shut this pile of crap down and bring out another pile of crap. Oh boy, this laptop is not very light. Say goodbye to the HP Mini 311. I know I won't miss it. And say hello to the Acer Aspire 5315. Apparently this is specifically the model number 2077. And I promise you this does not belong in 2077 or even 2007. There's a hair there. Let's get that out. This is a slightly interesting laptop. This is a low-end budget laptop from 2007. As you can see, it has an Intel Celeron, and it would have shipped with Windows Vista. More accurately, if I can get this to focus. Oh no, it doesn't say. This would have shipped with Windows Vista Basic, which I installed, Home Basic. And here's the specs of this laptop, which are actually completely correct. It has an Intel Celeron 540, which is not very fast. It has an Intel GMA X3100 integrated GPU. Trust me, that's not the limiting factor of this laptop. And it comes with 1 GB of DDR2, which is usable in Vista. It's not, I wouldn't say it's ideal, but it is usable. I think Windows Vista just froze itself. That's not a good sign. I don't think it likes my mouse much, which is funny because oh, there we go. Probably already filled up RAM, which wouldn't surprise me. Let's see if I can get this charger plugged in with one hand. That's going to be a difficult task. Eventually. Damn it. Such a nice sound. There we go. Home Basic. This wasn't usually offered in laptops sold in the US. However, I'm not entirely sure if this is an American laptop, given that there's a Euro symbol there and another Euro symbol there. Yeah, as you can see, I had to install modded drivers because normal Intel GMA drivers would crash this. No, I have no idea why, but it would. Somewhere the charging port is here. I think I have to just turn it around and see. There we go. I can see it now. This laptop is not in the best of shape, but it's a 15-year-old budget laptop. I've seen far newer laptops in worse shape. I've had far newer laptops in worse shape. I My laptops go through a lot. I guess I'll just put it like that. More power options. Let's make the screen a little bit brighter for y'all. And I gotta figure out, because the charging port on this is a little finicky. And guess what I also have on this laptop? Team Fortress 2. Actually, no, the specs on here are not entirely accurate because this does not have a 160 gigabyte hard drive. It did not come with a hard drive when I bought it, and getting an OS on here was a little bit annoying. I couldn't get Windows XP installed because for some reason it wouldn't detect the SSD in here. But there's a 128 gigabyte silicon power SSD that I bought off of Amazon many moons ago, and that's what it uses, and it's actually really nice to have in here. It really helps with making this laptop feel snappy. Oh, come on, charger. Yeah, this is a little more annoying than it looks with the charger. I know there's ways I've actually gotten it to work. Probably have to do it the other way. Half this video is gonna be out of focus because I'm trying to plug a charger into here half the time. Let's see. I know I got it working earlier. There we go. Okay, well, we're not using the laptop like that. Let's see, will that hold? Yes, it will. Okay, perfect. Okay, now this time around I can actually start Team Fortress 2 right now because it's not going to take 60 years to load. SSD helps a lot in this context. Trust me. This poor thing needs everything it can get because it probably needs more RAM, to be fair. Let's see. Matte DX level. Why does it keep resetting itself to 95? This thing cannot do 9.0C all that well in TF2. Well, it probably could actually, just at the lowest settings. Problem is, we're going to find out very quickly that the GPU is not holding anything back here. This poor single-core Celeron needs everything it can get. At least it doesn't. It's not a fucking stutter fest. Mind my language, but this thing does not stutter like the Pentium, or not the Pentium, the Atom does in this little thing. So you can see it has an interesting pattern on it. Actually, let's move the A12. Oh wow, the XP key is very faded. But if you can read it, there you go. That's an HP Mini 311 1011 TU. Proof of license. Thank you, Microsoft. I bought a laptop. It is very much. Oh my god. Well, we're already at a worse frame rate than we were on them. The poor little Atom. Although it's not stuttering nearly as much because, unlike the Atom, this actually has cache. Alright. SV cheats. Matte show low res image. This will all work. And trust me, this laptop's going to need it. Why didn't I just set it to 480p? There we go. Make my eyes suffer, and now you can see my ugly face and the trash that needs to be thrown out, but that's for another day. Let's get this focused on the screen itself. Eventually. There we go. Oh my god. Well, it stutters just a little bit, but I promise you this is so much better than the Atom. And that's sad because this chip is not very fast. This laptop I found at a thrift store for $12. I kind of wanted to use it as an XP laptop, but my hand was forced, and now it's a Vista laptop. Yeah, this laptop does not. This game does not run particularly well on this laptop, but it doesn't stutter like crazy, which is at least it's sort of playable. Let's add bots and let's see how much less playable it becomes. 22 because I'm going to join spectator while we talk about this laptop.
2, 1.
Yeah, thanks, Doc.
Man, this looks like a PS1 game. I did not know. Well, no, I actually have known for a little while that TF2 could look this horrible. And it's not running very good. Although it's not stuttering like it was on the Atom. It's just running terribly. This really needs a Core 2 Duo. Or hell, even an old Core Duo would help a lot here. But again, this is better than the Atom, which says a lot because this doesn't have hyper-threading. This is just one core and one thread doing all the work here. And it's putting in work. I really wonder how this game would run on a newer single-core Sempron, actually. This is still not the worst TF2 experience I've had. Although I've actually played TF2 on laptops from this era and it ran a little bit better. I used to have a Toshiba laptop with an AMD Turion 64 X2 TL60, and that also had an ATI Radeon Express X1250 chipset in it. It wasn't super playable, but it was better than this, and the CPU was not holding the GPU back in that case. Also had a laptop with an AMD Phenom 2 3 GHz one, which was actually pretty quick, and an AMD Radeon HD 4200 integrated GPU. It may have been ATI still, I don't remember. But needless to say, both ran this game a lot better than this laptop is. I did give it a go on another Acer I have that has a Core 2 Duo. But I think it still has a GMA X3100, which is not very good. But this thing's doing solid for having 1 GB of RAM. TF2 is not the most RAM-heavy game, but it does like having a little bit more than 1 GB. I'm sure the SSD is helping a lot in this context. The speakers are okay on here. Let's turn the volume up a little bit. And make our ears bleed. Oh my god, it's loud. Screen on this is okay. The viewing angles are actually okay, which is surprising for a cheap laptop from this era. Let's see, look at a below shot. Again, not bad at all. When you look above where it really falls apart, but you're doing a lot worse than this. Especially for a budget laptop. Let's turn that volume down. There we go. Now our ears won't bleed. There we go. This game looks like a Roblox version of itself, which is so sad. What the hell is happening? Goodbye. Dang, he tried. Alright, that's enough of TF2 on this laptop. Let's get the console out of here because it's taking up the whole screen. This time we don't have to use the console command exit to leave because it won't take about 5 years to leave. There we go. What else is on this laptop? Because I just fresh installed this yesterday. Games. Oh, we have Playable Place. I've never actually played this, so... Oh my god, Comic Sans. Oh! Alright, oh, wait up. There we go. Oh, this is pretty easy. Alright. There we go. Oh, wait, no. There we go. The animations in here look pretty weird. Oh, man. I've never played this game at all. Oh my god, it sounds like an iPhone ringtone. Alright. That sound effect is horrible. There we go. Let's open the task manager, see how... Oh my god. Oh, never mind. Purple Place isn't doing anything to this laptop. Matter of fact, this isn't a RAM-heavy game. I'm shocked. Efficiency bonus, 1250. Ooh la la. Let's go. Exit the game. There we go. That was easy. It's been a while since I've used Windows Vista. I forgot it was a little bit clunky, but certainly a lot better than XP in terms of usability, at least to me. It's maybe a little controversial, but Windows Vista actually did a lot for improving usability of Windows. A lot of things that you can do on Vista are just so much easier to do so on Vista than they were on XP. I know it nags you about user account control for literally everything. Like, when we go to System, all these tabs right here, you need administrator access for this. Good thing I'm the administrator, so continue. Anything here that we need. We do not have any extra operating systems on here. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything modern that would really run on here properly, short of a really light Linux distro, which this isn't going to be a Linux laptop. This has a single core Celeron. You know, I'm going to do that too. I'm doing that to a laptop with a Core 2 Duo if I really desire that. But I don't. So that's it for this Acer, really. It's not an interesting laptop, just that it's kind of funny that I even own it. I don't think this is an American laptop or American spec laptop given the Euro key, but here it is in the United States. In its low-end Celeron and Windows Vista basic glory. Yeah, let's shut it down. Goodbye. We're logging off and shutting down, and there we go. It's back in focus. And I've closed it. And let's get an underside shot. Yeah, it's all crooked. They're not crooked upside down. Here we go. And if you can read the product key again, it's all yours, but it's very faded. What does that actually say for the home basic? I can't read it. I'm sure I could find a laptop like this online and figure all that out, but for I/O, this has 3 USB ports, a modem. I didn't actually notice that. A DVD-ROM and CDRW drive, which is a little interesting because by 2007, DVD-RW drives were a lot more common. Hell, they were reasonably common by 2005, I think, but I digress. There's the other 2 USB ports, including my mouse. S-Video port. I would love to actually mess with that at some point. There's the Ethernet port. VGA. And the charger port. And then in front we have... Seems like there would have been a port either for IR or like a line input. I'm thinking IR, but this does not have it, obviously. So we just have a microphone input and a headphone jack. But I think that's really about it for these 2 laptops. They're both slow, they're both old, and eventually my phone will focus. But they're interesting. At least this is. It's kind of a relic of the past. When netbooks were king and laptop manufacturers had to catch up, and they figured out ways to charge $500 for one. And this is a remnant of entry-level laptops from 15 years ago. I feel kind of old looking at this, actually, but because I remember the Vista era, but here we are. This video's going to be very out of focus, but whatever. But I think that's it. Thank you for watching.